Lawmakers and local leaders spoke out today about legislation that could pave the way for copper nickel mining near the Boundary Waters. A resolution introduced by Northern Minnesota Congressman Pete Stauber passed the House back on January 21st. It would overturn a 20-year mining ban that was put in place by the Biden administration 3 years ago. The ban withdrew 225,000 acres of Superior National Forest from mineral leasing, blocking plans for copper nickel mining, including by Twin Metals. And today, organizations and some Democratic lawmakers spoke out against the bill, including Minnesota U.S. Senator Tina Smith.
This legislation would undo years of public input. It would override reams of nonpartisan scientific study and facts. And all of this tells us that this mine in this place is too great a risk to the Boundary Waters.
The local outfitters also spoke at today's event, saying the Boundary Waters are both an economic engine and a place of unspoiled beauty.
This proposed mining would destroy the heart of one of our state's, our country's greatest natural treasures. And it would mean fewer jobs and less income for the people of northeastern Minnesota.
Now, proponents of Twin Metals say such mining will follow state and federal regulations and can be done in a clean and safe way that does not endanger the BWCA. And Northern News Now reached out to Congressman Stauber's team for an interview today. He declined and sent a statement instead, saying this resolution would not remove environmental protections, but rather allow for mining permits to be issued near that area. He wrote that his bill would remove President Biden's, quote, illegal mining moratorium in Superior National Forest. He also said the bill would return to the established permitting process where science will prevail. Now, Smith says the Senate's vote on Stauber's resolution is likely to be sometime next week.